Hey guys, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you for everybody for coming back. Progress is being made slowly each and every day. So hopefully more and more of these can come out like every other day. Praying, crossing fingers. I still have yet to undertake more painting. It's going to rain tomorrow. So I'm hurting. I don't want to hurt myself. And if you get anything from my work, an epiphany, a mic drop, please support my work if you can. The links will be in the Dropbox below the video. And I thank you, and with gratitude to everybody who has supported me, helped me get to this far in my journey, keeping me fed, keeping me alive, keeping things moving forward. There's a lot of people that helped in that, and I thank you so much for doing so. Things are still up in like this stalemate, waiting on mail, waiting on my tax stuff from New York being sent to here. I got some of it, but not all of it. Waiting on birth certificate, waiting on a whole bunch of other things so that I can get more of my life in order. Can't do a lot of things when your driver's license is in another state. And even though you bought a house and you reside in a state, they like the license is like a golden ticket to like everything. I don't know why. It's highly annoying. So birth certificate, I am waiting for you to show up, and I'm trying to manifest that to get here a little quicker. Anywho, the Urantia Book. Paper 44, the Celestial Artisans. I love this desk. Props my books up. Among the courtesy colonies of the various divisional and universe headquarters, worlds, may be found the unique order of a composite personalities and artisans of the Urantia and lower spirit realms. They are the spirits and semi-spirits who are engaged in Urantia embellishment and in spiritual beautification. Such artisans are distributed throughout the grand universe on the headquarter worlds of the super universes, the local universes, the constellations and systems, as well as on all spheres settled in light and life. But their chief realm of activity is in the constellations, and especially on the 770 worlds surrounding each headquarter sphere. Though their work may be almost incomprehensible to the material mind, it should be understood that the Urantia and spirit worlds are not without their high arts and supernal cultures. The celestial artisans are not created as such. They are a selected and recruited corps of beings composed of certain teacher personalities native to the central universe and their volunteer pupils drawn from the ascending mortals and numerous other celestial groups. The original teaching corps of these artisans was sometimes assigned by the Infinite Spirit in collaboration with the 7 master spirits and consisted of 7,000 Hervona instructors, 1,000 to each of the 7 divisions of artisans. With such a nucleus to start with, there has developed through the ages this brilliant body of skillful workers in spirit and Urantia affairs. Any Urantia personality or spirit entity is eligible for admission to the corps of the celestial artisans. That is, any being below the rank of inherent divine sonship. Ascending sons of God from the evolutionary spheres may, after their arrival on the Urantia worlds, apply for admission to the artisan corps, and if sufficiently gifted, may choose such a career for a long or shorter period, but no one may enlist but the Celestial Artisans for less than 1 millennium, 1,000 years of super universe time. All Celestial Artisans are registered on the super universe headquarters, but are directed by Urantia supervisors on the local universe capitals. They are commissioned in the following 7 major divisions of activity by the Central Corps of Urantia supervisors functioning on the headquarter world of each local universe. 1. Celestial musicians. 2. Heavenly reproducers. 3. Divine builders. 4. Thought recorders. 5. Energy manipulators. 6. Designers and embellishers. 7. Harmony workers. I am curious how many of us have been in this role. I most likely was one of those. The original teachers of these 7 groups are all hailed from the perfect worlds of Harvona, and Harvona contains the pattern studies for all phases and forms of spiritual artistry. While it is a gigantic task to undertake to transfer these arts of Harvona to the worlds of space, the Celestial Artisans have improved in technique and execution from age to age. As in all other phases of the ascending career, those who are most advanced in any line of endeavor are required constantly to impart their superior knowledge and skill to the less favorable fellows. You will first begin to glimpse these transplanted arts of Harvona on the mansion worlds, and their beauty and your appreciation of their beauty will heighten and brighten until you stand in the spirit halls of Salvington and behold inspiring masterpieces of the supernal artists of the spirit realms. All these activities of the Urantia and spirit worlds are real. To spirit beings, the spirit world is a reality. To us, the material world is more unreal. The higher the spirit world is a reality. The higher forms of spirits freely pass through ordinary matter. High spirits are reactive to nothing material excepting certain of the basic energies. To material beings, nothing material excepting certain of the basic energies. Why do I keep doing that? Sorry, guys. To the material beings, the spirit world is more or less unreal. To spirit beings, the material world is almost entirely unreal, being merely a show of substance and spirit realities. I don't know why I kept reading back and forth, even with a pencil. I do apologize. I cannot, with exclusive spirit vision, perceive the building in which this narrative is being translated and recorded. A divine counselor from Uversa, who chances to stand by my side, perceives still less of these purely material creations. We discern how these material structures appear to you by viewing a spirit counterpart present to our minds by one of our attending energy transformers. This material building is not exactly real to me, a spirit being, but it is, of course, very real and very serviceable to material mortals. There are certain types of beings who are capable of discerning the reality of the creatures of both the spirit and the material worlds. Belonging to this class are the so-called 4th creatures of Harvona, servitals, and the 4th creatures of the conciliators. The angels of time and space are endowed with the ability to discern both spirit and material beings, as also are the ascending mortals subsequent to deliverance from the life in the flesh. After obtainment of the higher spirit levels, the ascenders are able to recognize material, morantial, and spirit realities. There is also here with a mighty messenger from Uversa, an ascendant adjuster fused one-time mortal being, and he perceives you as you are, and at the same time he visualizes the solitary messenger, the Supernephim, and other celestial beings present. Never in your long ascendancy will you lose the power to recognize your associates of former existences. Always, as you ascend inward in the scale of life, you will retain the ability to recognize and fraternize with the fellow beings of your previous and lower levels of experience. Pause. That's why many of us can actually understand what we are fractalized of, what fractals make us up. That's why we have vivid dreams, and that's why we can have recall of our past lives. Not all, but many of them that are support what we need in this life. It's very important to understand that line. Always, as you ascend inward in the scale of life, will you retain the ability to recognize, and fraternize with the fellow beings of your previous and lower levels of experience. That's why when people go into QHHT, and they were once the rock, the vegetable, the animal. So you're going through all your vibratory existences before you became human. Many people could do that. So just a note. Each new translation or resurrection will add one more group of spirit beings to your vision range, without in the least depriving you of the ability to recognize your friends and fellows of former estates. Why we are all forming our soul tribes, why we recognize soul to soul on a level like, oh, I feel like I've known you forever, but I just met you kind of feeling. All this is made possible in the experience of ascending mortals by the action of the indwelling thought adjusters. Through their retention of the duplicates of your entire life's experiences, you are assured of never losing any true attribute you once had, and these adjusters are going through with you as a part of you in reality as you. It's truth. And although people question this book, they should question every book that you read. This is pluck. Allison's perception of plucking truth, that to me, discerned by me, it might not resonate with you. So again, take what resonates to you out of these books that I read. That resonates with me. But I almost despair of being able to convey to the material mind the nature of the work of the Celestial Artisans. I am under the necessity of constantly perverting thought and distorting language in an effort to unfold to the mortal mind the reality of these Urantia transactions and near spirit phenomena. Your comprehension is incapable of grasping, and your language is inadequate for conveying the meaning, value, and relationship of these semi-spirit activities. And I proceed with this effort to enlighten the human mind concerning these realities with the full understanding of the utter impossibility of my being very successful in such an undertaking. I can do no more than attempt to sketch a crude parallelism between mortal material activities and the manifold functions of the Celestial Artisans. If the Urantia races were more advanced in art and other cultural accomplishments, then could I go that much further in an effort to project the human mind from the things of matter to those of Urantia. About all I can hope to accomplish is to make empathetic the fact that reality of these transactions of Urantia and the spirit worlds. Why we're all starting to remember. Thank thought adjusters. Let's find out what the celestial musicians are. With the limited range of mortal hearing, you can hardly conceive of Urantia melodies. There is even a material range of beautiful sound unrecognized by the human senses of hearing, not to mention the inconceivable scope of Urantia and spirit harmony. Spirit melodies are not material sound waves, but spiritual pulsations received by the spirits of celestial personalities. There is a vastness of range and a soul expression, as well as a grandeur of execution associated with the melody of the spheres that are wholly beyond human comprehension. I have seen millions of enraptured beings held in sublime ecstasy while the melody of the realm rolled in upon the spirit energy of the celestial circuits. These marvelous melodies can be broadcasted to the utmost parts of the universe. The celestial musicians are occupied with the production of celestial harmony by the manipulation of the following spirit forces. 1. Spirit sound, spirit current interruptions. 2. Spiritual light, the control and intensification of the light of the Urantial and spiritual realms. 3. Energy impingements, melody produced by the skillful management of the Urantia and spirit energies. 4. Color symphonies, melody of Urantia color tones. This ranks among the highest accomplishments of the celestial musicians. 5. Harmony of associated spirits, the very arrangement and association of different orders of Urantia and spirit beings produce majestic melodies. 6. Melody of thought, the thinking of spiritual thoughts can be so perfected as to burst forth in the melodies of Harmona. Sorry, guys, those get stuck. 7. The music of space. By proper attunement, the melodies of other spheres can be picked up on the universe broadcast circuits. There are over 100,000 different modes of sound, color, and energy manipulations, techniques analogous to the human employment of musical instruments. Your ensembles of dancing undoubtedly represent a crude of grotesque attempt of material creatures to approach the celestial harmony of being placement and personality arrangement. The other 5 forms of Urantia melody are unrecognized by sensory mechanisms of material bodies. Harmony, the music of the 7 levels of melodious association, is one universal code of spirit communication. Music such as Urantia mortals understand attains its highest expression in the schools of Jerusalem, the system headquarters where semi-material beings are taught the harmonies of sound. Mortals do not react to other forms of Urantia melody and celestial harmony. Appreciation of music on Urantia is both physical and spiritual, and your human musicians have done much to elevate musical tastes from the barbarous monotony of your early ancestors to the higher levels of sound appreciation. The majority of Urantia mortals react to music so largely with the material muscles and so slightly with mind and spirit, but there has been a steady improvement in musical appreciation for more than 35,000 years. Tuneful syncopation represents a transition from the musical monotony of primitive man to the expressionful harmony and meaningful melodies of your later day musicians. These early types of rhythm stimulate the reaction of the music-loving sense without entailing the exertion of the higher intellectual powers of harmony, appreciation, and thus more generally appeal to immature or spiritually indolent individuals. The best music of Urantia is just a fleeting echo of the magnificent strains heard by the celestial associates of your musicians, who left but snatches of these harmonies of Urantia forces on record as the musical melodies of sound harmonics. Spirit Urantia music not infrequently employs all 7 modes of expression and reproduction, so that the human mind is tremendously handicapped in any attempt to reduce those melodies of the higher spheres to mere notes of musical sound. Such an effort would be something like endeavoring to reproduce the strains of a great orchestra by means of a single musical instrument. While you have assembled some beautiful melodies on Urantia, You have not progressed musically nearly so far as many of your neighboring planets in Satania. Whew. If Adam and Eve had only survived, then would you had music in reality, but the gift of harmony, so large in their natures, has been so diluted by strains of unmusical tendencies that only once in 1,000 mortal lives is there any great appreciation of harmonies. But be not discouraged. Someday a real musician may appear on Urantia, and whole peoples will be enthralled by the magnificent strains of his melodies. One such human being could forever change the course of a whole nation, even the entire civilized world. It is literally true, melody has power a whole world to transform. Forever, music will remain the universal language of men, angels, and spirits. Harmony is a speech of Harvana. 2. The heavenly reproducers. Mortal men can hardly cope for more than a meager and distorted concept of functions of heavenly reproducers, which I have attempted to illustrate through the gross and limited symbolism of your material language. The spirit Urantia world has 1,001 things of supreme value, things worthy of reproduction but unknown on Urantia, experiences that belong in the category of the activities which have hardly, quote, entered into the mind of man, end quote, those realities which God has in waiting for those who survive the life in the flesh. There are 7 groups of the heavenly reproducers, and I will attempt to illustrate their work by the following classifications. 1. The singers. Harmonies who reiterate the specific harmonies of the past and interpret the melodies of the present, but all of this is effected on the Urantia level. 2. The color workers. Those artists of light and shade you might call sketchers and painters, artists who preserve passing scenes and transient episodes for future Urantia enjoyment. 3. The light picturers. Pictures. There's a Z in there. The makers of the real semi-spirit phenomena, preservations of which motion pictures would be a very crude illustration. 4. The historic pageanters, those who dramatically reproduce the crucial events of universal records in history. 5. The prophetic artists, those who project the meaning of history into the future. 6. The life storytellers, those who perpetuate the meaning and significance of life experience, the projection of present personal experiences into the future attainment values. 7. The administrative enactors, those who depict the significance of governmental philosophy and administrative technique, the celestial dramaticists of sovereignty. Very often and effectively, the heavenly reproducers collaborate with the reversion directors in combining memory, recapitulation with certain forms of mind rests, and personality diversion. Before the Urantia conclaves and spirit assemblies, these reproducers sometimes associate themselves in tremendous dramatic spectacles, representative of the purpose of such gathering. I recently witnessed such a stupendous presentation in which more than 1 million actors produced a succession of 1,000 scenes. The higher intellectual teachers and the transition ministers freely and effectively utilize these various groups of reproducers in their Urantia educational activities, but not all of their efforts are devoted to transient illustration. Very much of their work is of permanent nature and will forever remain as a legacy to our future time. So versatile are these artisans that when they function in mass, they are able to reenact an age, and in collaboration with the seraphic ministers, They can actually portray the eternal values of the spirit world to the Urantial seers of time. Very interesting. Totally one of those. Maybe now. 3, the divine builders. There are cities whose builder and maker is God. In spirit counterpart, we have all that you mortals are familiar with and inexpressibly more. We have homes, spirit comforters, and Urantia necessities. For every material satisfaction which humans are capable of enjoying, we have thousands of spiritual realities. That serve to enrich and enlarge our existence. The divine builders function in 7 groups. 1, the home designers and builders. Those who construct and remodel the abodes assigned to individuals and working groups. These Urantia spirit domiciles are real. They would be invisible to your short-range vision, but they are very real and beautiful to us. To a certain extent, all spirit beings may share with the builders certain details of the planning and creation of their Urantia or spirit abodes. These homes are fitted up and embellished in accordance with the needs of the Urantia or of the spirit creatures who are to inhabit them. There is abundant variety and ample opportunity for individual expression in all these constructions. 2, the vocation builders. Those who function in designing and assembling the abodes of regular and routine workers of the spirit and Urantia realms. These builders are comparable to those who construct the Urantia workshops and other industrial plants. The transition worlds have a necessary economy, a mutual ministry, and specialized division of labor. We do not all do everything. There is diversity in function among Urantia beings and evolving spirits, and these vocation builders not only build better workshops, but also contribute to the vocation enhancement of the worker. 3, the play builders. Enormous edifices are utilized during the seasons of rest, what mortals would call recreation and, in a certain sense, play. Provision is made for a suitable setting for the reversion directors, the humorists of the Urantia worlds, those transition spheres whereupon takes place with training of ascended beings, but recently removed from the evolutionary planets. Even the higher spirits engage in a certain form of reminiscent humor during their periods of spiritual recharging. 4, the worship builders. The experienced architects of spirit and Urantia temples. All the worlds of mortal ascent have temples of worship, and they are the most exquisite creations of Urantia realm and spirit spheres. 5, the education builders. Those who build the headquarters of Urantia training and advanced spirit learning, always in the way open to acquire more knowledge to gain additional information respecting one's present future work, as well as universal culture knowledge. Information designed to make ascending mortals more intelligent and effective citizens of the Urantia and spirit worlds. 6, Urantia planners. Those who build for the coordinate association of all the personalities of all realms, as they are at any time present on any one sphere. These planets collaborate with the Urantia power supervisors to enrich the coordination of the progressive Urantia life. 7, the public builders, the artisans who plan and construct the designated places of assembly other than those of worship. Great and magnificent are the places common assembly. While neither these structures nor their embellishment could be exactly real to the sensory comprehension of material mortals, they are very real to us. You would be unable to see these temples could you be there in the flesh. Nevertheless, all of these super material creations are actually there, and we clearly discern them, just as you fully enjoy them. The thought recorders. These artisans are devoted to the preservation and reproduction of the superior thought of the realms, and they function in 7 groups. 1. The thought preservers. These are the artisans dedicated to the preservation of the higher thought of the realms. On the Urantia worlds, they truly treasure the gems of mentation. Before first coming to Urantia, I saw records and heard broadcasts of the ideation of some of the great minds of this planet. Thought recorders preserve such noble ideas in the tongue of Uversa. Each super universe has its own language, a tongue spoken by its personalities and prevailing throughout its sectors. This is known as the tongue of Uversa in our super universe. Each local universe also has its own language. All of the higher orders of Nebadon are bilingual, speaking both the language of Nebadon and the tongue of Uversa. When 2 individuals from different local universes meet, they communicate in the tongue of Uversa. If, however, one of them hails from another super universe, they must have recourse to a translator. In the central universe, there is little need of language. There exists perfect and well-nigh complete understanding there. Only the gods are not fully comprehended. We are taught that a chance meeting on Paradise reveals more of mutual understanding that could be communicated by a mortal language in 1,000 years. Even on Salventon, we know as we are known. The ability to translate thought into language in the Urantia and spirit spheres is beyond mortal comprehension. Our rate of reducing thought to a permanent record can be so sped up by the excerpt recorders that the equivalent of over 500,000 words of thought symbols can be registered in 1 minute of Urantia time. These universal languages are far more replete than the speech of the evolving worlds. The concept symbols of Uversa embrace more than 1 billion characters. Although the basic alphabet contains only 70 symbols, the language of Nebadon is not quite so elaborate, the basic symbols or alphabet being 48 in number. 2. Concept recorders. The second group of recorders are concerned with the preservation of concept pictures, idea patterns. This is a form of permanent recording unknown on the material realms, and by this method, I could gain more knowledge in 1 hour of your time than you can gain in 100 years of pursuing ordinary written language. 3. Ideograph recorders. We have the equivalent of both your written and spoken word. But in preserving thought, we usually employ concept pictualization and ideograph techniques. Those who preserve ideographs are able to improve 1,000-fold upon the work of your concept recorders. 4. Promoters of oratory. This group of recorders are occupied with the task of preserving thought from reproduction by oratory. But in the language of Nebadon, we could, in half-hour's address, cover the subject matter of the entire lifetime of Urantia mortal. Your only hope of comprehending this transactions is to pause and consider the technique of your disordered and garbled dream life. How you can, in a few seconds, traverse years of experience in these fantasies of the night season. The auditory of the spirit world is one of the rare treats which await you, who have heard only the crude and stumbling orientation of Urantia. There is harmony of music, euphony of expression in the orientations of Salvington and Adenthia, which are inspiring beyond description. These burning concepts are like gems of beauty and diadems of glory, but I cannot do it. I cannot convey to the human mind and breadth and depth of these realities of other world. 5. The broadcast directors. The broadcast of Paradise to super universe and the local universes are under the general supervision of this group of thought preservers. They serve as the censors and editors, as well as coordinators of the broadcast material, making a super universe adaptation of all Paradise broadcasts and translating the broadcasts of Ancients of Days into the individual tongues of local universes. The local universe broadcasts must also be modified by reception by the systems and the individual planets. The transmittal of these space reports is carefully supervised, and there is always a back registry to ensure the proper reception of every report on every world in a given circuit. These broadcast directors are technically expert in utilization of currents of space for all purposes of intellectual communication. 6. The rhythm recorders. Urantians would undoubtedly nominate these artisan poets, although their work is very different from almost infinity transcends your poetic productions. Rhythm is less exhausting, but to both Urantial and spirit beings, and so an effort is frequently made to increase efficiency as well as to augment pleasure by executing numerous functions in rhythmic form. I only wish you might be privileged to hear some of the poetic broadcasts of Urantia assemblies and to enjoy the riches of the color and tone of the constellation geniuses who are masters of the exquisite form of self-expression and social harmonization. 7. The Urantial recorders. I'm at a loss to know how to depict to the material mind the function of these important group of thought recorders assigned to the work of preserving the ensemble pictures of various groupings of Urantial affairs. In spirit transactions, crudely illustrated, they are the group of photographers of the transition worlds. They save for the future the vital scenes and associations of these progressive epochs, preserving them in the archives of the Urantial halls of records. That's pretty cool. That's an awesome job. The energy manipulators. These interesting and effective artisans are concerned with every kind of energy, physical, vital, and spiritual. The physical energy manipulators. The physical energy manipulators serve for long periods with the power directors and are experts in manipulation and control of many phases of physical energy. They are conservant with the 3 basic currents in the 30 subsidiary energy segregations of the super universes. These beings are inestimable. I can't get that word projected right. Sorry. Assistants to the Urantia power supervisors of transient worlds. They are the persistent students of the cosmic projection as a paradise. Projections? 2. Mind energy manipulators. These are the experts of intercommunication between Urantia and other types of intelligent beings. This form of communication between mortals is practically non-existent on Urantia. These are specialists who promote the ability of ascending Urantia beings to communicate with one another, and their work embraces numerous unique adventures in intellect liaison with which are far beyond my power to portray to the material mind. These artisans are the keen students of mind circuits of the infinite spirit. 3. Spiritual energy manipulators. The manipulators of spiritual energy are the intriguing group. Spiritual energy acts in accordance with the established laws, just as does physical energy. That is, spirit force, when studied, yields dependable deductions and can be precisely dealt with, even as can the physical energies. There are just as certain and reliable laws in the spirit world as obtained in the material realms. During the last few millions of years, many improved techniques for the intake of spiritual energy have been affected by these students of the fundamental laws of the eternal sun governing spirit energy as applied to the Urantia and other orders of celestial beings throughout the universe. 4. The compound manipulators. This is the adventurous group of well-trained beings who are dedicated to the functional association of the 3 original phases of divine energy manifested throughout the universes as physical, vital, and spiritual energies. These are the keen personalities who are in reality seeking to discover the universe presence of God the Supreme. For in this deity personality, there must occur the experimental unification of all grand universe divinity. And to a certain extent, these artisans have in recent times met with some success. 5. The transport advisors. This corps of technical advisors to the transport seraphim are most proficient in collaborating with the star students in working out routines and otherwise assisting the chiefs of transport on the worlds of space. They are the traffic supervisors of spheres and are present on all inhabited planets. Urantia is served by a corps of 70 transport advisors. 60 experts of communication. Urantia likewise is served by 12 technicians of interplanetary and inter-universe communication. These long experienced beings are expert in the knowledge of the laws of transmittal and interference as applied to the communications of the realms. This corps is concerned with all forms of space manages, except those of gravity and solitary messengers. On Urantia, much of their work must be accomplished over the Archangel Circuit. 7. The teachers of rest. Oh, many of us can use this. Divine rest is associated with the technique of spiritual energy intake. Urantia and spirit energy must be replenished just as certainly as physical energy, but not for the same reasons. I am perforce compelled to employ crude illustrations in my attempts to enlighten you. Nevertheless, we of the spirit world must stop our regular activities periodically and betake ourselves to suitable places of rendezvous where we enter the divine rest and thus recuperate our depleting energies. Someone take me there, please. My light buddy, overworked. Many of you too. You will receive your first lesson in these matters when you reach the mansion worlds, after you have become Urantia beings and have begun to experience the technique of spirit affairs. You know of the innermost circle of Havona, and that after the pilgrims of space have traversed the preceding circles, they must be inducted into the long and revivifying rest of paradise. This is not only a technical requirement to transit form from the career of time to the service of eternity, but it is also a necessity, a form of rest required to replenish the energy losses incident to the final steps of the ascended experience and to store up reserves of spirit power for the next stage of the endless career. These energy manipulators also function in hundreds of other ways, too numerous to catalog, such as counseling with the seraphim, cherubim, and cenobim, regarding the most effective modes of energy intake and as to the maintenance of the most helpful balances of divergent forces between active cherubim and passive cenobim. In many other ways, do these experts lead assistants to Urantia and spirit creatures in their effort to understand the divine rest, which is so essential to the effective utilization of basic energies of space. 6. The designers and embellishers. How I wish I knew how to portray the exquisite work of these unique artisans. Every attempt on my part to explain the work of spirit embellishment would only recall to a material mind your own pitiful but worthy efforts to do these things on your world of mind and matter. This corps, would embracing over 1,000 subdivisions of activity, is grouped under the following 7 major heads. 1. The craft workers of color. These are they who make the 10,000 color tones of spirit reflection peel forth their exquisite message of harmonies and beauty. Aside from color perception, there is nothing in human experience to which these activities can be compared. I bet not. 2, the sound designers. Spirit waves of diverse identity and Urantia appreciation are depicted by these designers of what you would call sound. These impulses are in reality the superb reflections of the naked and glorious spirit souls of the celestial hosts. 3, the emotion designers. These enhancers and conservators of feeling are those who preserve the sentiments of Urantia and emotions of divinity, and for the study of edification of the children of time, for the inspiration and beautification of Urantia progressors and advancing spirits. 4, the artists of odor. This comparison of supernal spirit activities to the physical recognition of chemical odors is indeed unfortunate. So I made my face. But the Urantia mortals could hardly recognize the ministry by any other name. These artisans create their varied symphonies for the edification and delight of the advancing children of light. You have nothing on earth to which this type of spiritual grandeur can even remotely compare. 5, this presence embellishers. These artisans are not occupied with the arts of self-adornment or the techniques of creature beautification. They are devoted to the production of multitudinous and joyous reactions in individual Urantia and spirit creatures by dramatizing the significance of relationship through the positional values assigned to different Urantia and spirit orders in the composite ensembles of these diversified beings. These artists arrange super material beings as you would living musical notes, odors, sights, and then blend them into anthems of glory. 6, the taste designers. And how can you be told of these artists? Faintly, I might suggest that they are improvers of Urantia taste, and they also endeavor to increase the appreciation of beauty through the sharpening of the evolving spirit senses. 7, the Urantia synthesizers. These are the master craftsmen who, when all others have made their respective contributions, and add the culminating and finishing touches to the Urantia ensemble, thus achieving an inspiring portrayal of a divinely beautiful and enduring inspiration to spirit beings and their Urantia associates. But you must await your deliverance from the animal body before you can begin to conceive of the artistic glories and aesthetic beauties of the Urantia and spirit worlds. The harmony workers. These artists are not concerned with music, painting, or anything similar, as you might be led to surmise. They are occupied with the manipulation and organization of specialized forces and energies which are present in the spirit world, but which are not recognized by mortals. If I had the least possible basis for comparison, I would attempt to portray this unique field of spirit achievement, but I despair. There is no hope of conveying to mortal minds the spirit of celestial artistry. Nevertheless, that which cannot be described may still be implied. Beauty, rhythm, and harmony are intellectually associated with spiritually akin. Truth, fact, and relationship are intellectually inseparable and are associated with the philosophic concepts of beauty. Goodness, righteousness, and justice are philosophically interrelated and spiritually bound up together with living truth and divine beauty. Cosmic concept of true philosophy, the portrayal of celestial artistry, or the mortal attempt to depict the human recognition of divine beauty can never be truly satisfying if such attempted creature progression to unnullified. These expressions of the divine urge within the evolving creatures may be intellectually true, emotionally beautiful, and spiritually good, but the real soul of expression is absent Unless these realities of truth, meanings of beauty, and values of goodness are unified in the life experience of the artisans, the scientist, or the philosopher. These divine qualities are perfectly and absolutely unified in God, and every God-knowing man or angel possesses the potential of unlimited self-expression on every progressive levels of unified self-realization by the technique of the never-ending achievement of God-likeness, the experimental blending in the evolutionary experience of eternal truth, universal beauty, and divine goodness. Mortal aspirations and Urantia achievement. Although celestial artisans do not personally work on material planets, such as Urantia, they do come from time to time from the headquarters of the system to proffer help to the naturally gifted individuals of the mortal race. When thus assigned, these artisans temporarily work under the supervision of the planetary angels of progress. The seraphic hosts cooperate with these artisans in attempting to assist those mortal artists who possess inherent endowments and who also possess adjusters of special and previous experience. There are three possible sources of special human ability. At the bottom, always there exists the natural or inherent aptitude. Special ability is never an arbitrary gift of the gods. There is always an ancestral foundation for every outstanding talent. In addition to the natural ability, or rather supplemental thereto, there may be contributed the leadings of the thought adjuster in those individuals whose indwelling adjusters may have had actual and bona fide experiences along such lines on other worlds in other mortal creatures. In those cases, where both the human mind and the indwelling adjuster are usually skillful, the spirit artisans may be delegated to act as harmonizers of these talents, and otherwise to assist and inspire these mortals to seek forever perfecting ideals, to attempt their enhanced portrayal for the edification of the realm. There is no caste in the ranks of spiritual artisans, no matter how lowly your origin. If you have ability and the gift of expression, you will gain adequate recognition and receive due appreciations as you ascend upward in the scale of Urantia experience and spiritual attainment. There can be no handicap of human hereditary or a deprivation of mortal environment, which the mortal career will not fully compensate and wholly remove. And all such satisfactions of artistic achievement and expressionful self-realization will be effected by your own personal efforts in progressive advancement. At last, the aspirations of evolutionary mediocrity may be realized. While the gods do not arbitrarily bestow talent and ability upon the children of time, they do provide the attainment of the satisfaction of all their noble longings and for the gratification of all human hunger for supernal self-expression. But every human being should remember many ambitions to excel which tantalize mortals in the flesh will not persist with these same mortals in the Urantian spirit careers. The ascending Urantians learn to socialize their former purely selfish longings and egotistic ambitions. Nevertheless, those things which you so earnestly long to do on earth, which circumstances so persistently deny you, if after acquiring true moda insight into the Urantia career, you still desire to do, then you will most certainly be granted every opportunity to satisfy your long cherished desires. Before ascending mortals leave the local universe to embark upon their spirit careers, they will be stated respecting every intellectual artist and social longing or true ambition whichever characterize their mortal or Urantia planes of existence. This is the achievement of equality of the satisfaction of self-expression and self-realization, but not the attainment of identical experiential status, nor the complete obliteration of characteristic individuality and skill, technique, and expression, but the new spirit differential of personal experiential attainment will not become thus leveled off and equalized until after you have finished the last circle of the Havona career. And then will the paradise residents be confronted with the necessity of adjusting to the absentite differential of the personal experience, which can be leveled off only by the group's attainment of the ultimate in creature status, the 7-stage spirit destiny of the mortal finaliters. And this is the story of the Celestial Artisans, that cosmopolitan body of the exquisite workers who do so much to glorify the architectural spheres with the artistic portrayals of the divine beauty of paradise creators, indicted by the Archangel of Nebadon. That was pretty cool. And I bet a lot of us had these rounds upstairs. Next time, the local system administration. I'll be damned. If you enjoyed this reading of Urantia, please don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. The more the merrier. I have a lot of work I'm working on. I got some Hermit's Journey going on. I'm making my notes. I got some more books to read. I got a lot of books to read, actually. Very excited, but I got to get through some of these because some of them are monsters. If not everything else that I'm reading isn't huge. And I have some spiritual soul advice incoming very soon. So please subscribe so you know when these videos continue to come out, as my schedule is in flux. The house is in flux. Every day is a different adventure in this house. For reals. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I am very much trying to get down here every other day, every day, to do a reading so that I can start doing what I was doing that I enjoy so much. And I hope you guys enjoy too. Sending protection, light, love, and shielding to all of you out there who listen. Please be safe, be seen, or shielded, and invisible to the negative forces that are out there. We are being heavily under attack. There's a lot of codes happening. There's a lot of the old leaving, and there's things merging right now. So a lot of people are quick-tempered, are really being mean and very wordy, even though people are trying to help. Please be mindful of how you can transmute and those things that trigger you within your personal life. And until next time, have a really good rest of your week, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.